Encyclopædia Britannica Educational Corporation presents Insects, the Lovely and the Lethal. What would our world be without insects? A world without the wonder of a housefly's flight. A world without the work of 1 billion mouths that endlessly tear and chew. To some, their ways may seem brutal, their habits curious and grotesque. For theirs is a world with rules of its own, one whose deepest secrets have only begun to be revealed. Ignored, condemned, misunderstood, insects are viewed by many as an annoyance or a curse. But how much of that reputation is deserved? To find out, we must embark upon a journey into an incredible world. Some people believe that anything that creeps or crawls is an insect, but spiders are not. If you count the legs of the tarantula, you'll find that it has 8, while adult insects have only 6. The scorpion loses out on that count, too. By disqualifying both of these, we've already gone part of the way to improving the insect's image. Centipedes also look a little like insects, but again, too many legs. The same applies to the millipedes with their dozens of tiny limbs, though experts believe that all of these creatures may be distant cousins of the insects. Over 500 million years ago, the worm-like ancestor of the insects evolved into a hard-shelled creature. Then, some 300 million years ago, the first true insects appeared, with 2 pairs of wings, 6 legs, and a single pair of antennae. Today, insects are by far the most successful animals on Earth, with perhaps as many as 2 million species adapted to life in almost every conceivable habitat, from the tropics to the Arctic Circle. One of the secrets of the insect's success is their amazing reproductive ability. The first stages of their life cycle resemble those of higher animals. The fertilized eggs are laid in a variety of places, usually near a food source. Through cell division, as shown here in time-lapse photography, many insects rapidly develop into wingless, worm-like larvae. In the case of the moth, the end result is a caterpillar. For the waterborne mosquito, it's a wriggler. These insects feed almost constantly until larval growth is completed. During the process of metamorphosis, many larvae enclose themselves in a protective cocoon, seen here again in time-lapse. In this stage, their internal organs redevelop and their adult features form. Deep in its silken mantle, the developing insect, or pupa, remains in a suspended state until metamorphosis is complete. Some insects, like the black swallowtail caterpillar, attach themselves to a stem and spin a fine silk safety belt. Then, as shown here in time-lapse, they shed their outer skin to expose a protective case enclosing the pupa within. When the transformation is complete, the casing splits and the adult butterfly emerges. As the new skin hardens, the wings fill with blood and expand. The butterfly's metamorphosis is complete. Insects may appear highly diverse, but as adults, they all share the same basic body plan. The insect's head carries specialized organs for sight, smell, and taste. The insect eye may be composed of as many as 30,000 separate lenses, a feature which may aid in depth perception. The mouth parts are also distinctive. Some insects, like the mosquito, have evolved specialized sucking tubes. The midsection of the insect is the thorax, to which the wings and legs are attached, limbs adapted for flying, running, jumping, burrowing, or swimming. The third section, the abdomen, holds the principal organs of respiration, reproduction, and digestion, while the exoskeleton, a hard outer shell or casing, rigidly protects the vulnerable parts within. The complex social systems of some insects have also contributed to their success. Some ants even maintain herds of other insects, such as mealybugs and aphids, collecting them for the sugary honeydew they secrete. But surely among the most impressive achievements of the insects are the towering castles of clay constructed by the mound-building termites. Each colony may support as many as 2 million individuals, living and working in a structure built to maintain constant conditions of temperature and humidity. The task of construction and repair falls to a special class of termites known as workers. Without wings or functioning sexual organs, the workers labor tirelessly to maintain the maze of ducts and passageways, using as mortar a mixture of mud and saliva, which when set may endure for half a century. The defense of the termite colony is the responsibility of the soldiers, sterile adults with oversized mandibles for fending off would-be marauders. An additional duty of the workers is to tend the colony's hothouse crops, gardens of fungus, which are cultivated in special climate-controlled chambers within the mound to provide food for the colony. Some of the workers tend the incubation chambers as nursemaids for the colony's eggs. The organization of labor within the community is so precise and energy efficient that termites have been credited as the world's earliest social insects. primary function of the entire colony is reproduction, and in the royal chamber, the termite queen, her abdomen swollen with ovaries, produces a steady flow of eggs. Almost 300 times as large as her subjects, she may live for 50 years, and in that time produce 500 million eggs. The termite king, larger than the workers and soldiers, mingles with them, part of a retinue that remains in constant attendance upon the queen, feeding her and grooming her, and bearing away the tiny white eggs as quickly as they're produced. It's thought that the elaborate social system within the colony is maintained through the exchange of chemical messengers, or pheromones, secreted by the queen. No one is certain how the process works, but it appears likely that the phenomenal success of the termite society depends on this amazing system of chemical communication. Communication. Among insects, it takes many forms, from the visual signals of mating fireflies to the courting songs of crickets and cicadas. Just as termites use pheromones, ants too communicate through chemical messengers, exchanging information about such matters as food and defense. Many species of moths use pheromones as a lure to entice the opposite sex. The food dance of the honeybee depends on visual as well as chemical cues. With such advantages, why then do insects not overrun the earth? Like all other creatures, they play an essential part in the network of natural food chains, a fact which ensures that their numbers remain in check. Not only do other animals like spiders prey on insects, but they frequently prey upon one another, contributing to the natural balance. Here, a predatory stink bug impales the Cecropia caterpillar. But perhaps the most fascinating of all the insect predators is the praying mantis, so named for the posture it assumes prior to seizing its victim. To the male praying mantis, mating can be a risky proposition, for the female may prove a deadly partner. Here, unaware of the danger, the male attempts to mate with the noticeably larger female. To his misfortune, he completes the act of insemination, only to find himself made into a meal. Many insects, like this katydid, are protected against predation by elaborate forms of camouflage. One species of mantid has evolved the appearance of a dry, leafy twig, a disguise which may not only help it to elude predators, but may assist it in capturing prey. This type of camouflage is also exhibited by the bagworm caterpillar, which conceals itself with dead leaves. the case of the spicebush caterpillar, its eye-like markings serve as a warning to predators, a form of deception common to many insects. The ways of insects have fascinated men since the days of Tutankhamun, when their kind were revered as gods. In ornamental art through the ages, insects have figured as popular subjects, but their most powerful appeal to man has always been economic. The silkworm moth has for centuries been the basis of a profitable industry, while the insect pollination of flowering plants is the very foundation of most of man's agriculture. In their quest for nectar, bees transfer pollen from flower to flower, making it possible for the plants to reproduce. By feeding on dead organisms, insects provide another valuable service to man. This time-lapse sequence reveals the efficiency with which a swarm of ants may strip a dead minnow to the bone. In another example, a dead mouse serves as a repository for the eggs of a fly. When hatched, the larvae will feed on the mouse until very little remains. But unfortunately, not all insects are beneficial to humans. Many insects possess the ability to use cellulose as food. Although some species play a useful role by consuming fallen timber, millions of dollars worth of living trees are destroyed each year by insects. In addition, numerous insect species compete with humans for food, destroying up to a third of the world's annual agricultural production. Perhaps even more alarming is the fact that insects frequently carry diseases deadly to humans and domestic stock. In this category, certain mosquitoes are prime offenders. The blood-sucking female transmits to humans such diseases as malaria and yellow fever. Here, the adult mosquito emerges from the water in which it lived through its larval stage. History's worst case of an insect-borne disease was the notorious Black Death. Spread by rats carrying plague-infected fleas, it claimed 25 million lives in 14th century Europe. In this century, science has tackled the problem of insect pests with an onslaught of chemical poisons. Some have proven remarkably successful, curbing the spread of disease and saving crops which otherwise would have been lost. But frequently, the price of success has been high, for the residues of many pesticides linger in the soil and water to harm beneficial species. A more promising form of control involves the use of harmless insects to keep threatening species in check. For example, crop-eating aphids are today successfully controlled with the aid of predaceous ladybugs. Here, a stalk infested with aphids is exposed to a colony of ladybugs. The results are swift and dramatic, for the aphids are immediately attacked by the predators. Soon, the swarm of ladybugs will consume all the aphids, leaving the plant unharmed. Another current study is directed toward breeding a species of mosquito that preys on the larvae of the mosquitoes which carry yellow fever. A hand-reared mosquito, which is harmless to humans, will be released in areas inhabited by the destructive species in an attempt to reduce its numbers. If all goes well, the friendly mosquito may contribute to the defeat of one of mankind's most dreaded diseases. A similar experiment is underway with the so-called killer bee, a productive strain of African honeybee known for its fierceness and difficulty to control. Through artificial insemination, scientists are seeking to crossbreed the killer bee queens with more docile species, hoping in this way to breed out the aggressive behavior. It's too early to tell whether such experiments will prove successful, and the future will probably include a combination of biological and chemical means of control. Already, however, we're beginning to regard insects not only as our adversaries, but as our allies. Awesome, intriguing, and beguiling, our six-legged friends inhabit a world of wonder and of promise waiting to be explored.